Daniel Carter was a man who had already lived a lifetime before turning 40. A veteran of the Marines, he had seen combat, loss, and sacrifice in ways most people couldn't imagine. But the hardest fight of his life hadn't been overseas, it was raising his 7-year-old daughter, Emily, after his wife passed away from cancer. Emily was the reason Daniel got out of bed each morning. She was bright, gentle, and had a way of noticing things that others overlooked. That night, as they walked home from the corner store, she was the first to spot the girl sitting on the curb. Her arms were inked with swirling tattoos, flowers, wolves, words and languages Daniel didn't recognize. Her knees were scraped, and there was a thin cut across her cheek. She looked up when they stopped, her eyes red-rimmed and defiant, like she was daring anyone to care. "Daddy," Emily whispered, clutching his hand tighter. "She's hurt. Can we help her?" Daniel hesitated. His training had taught him to assess before acting. He scanned the street, no cars, no other people. He saw the tremble in the girl's hands, the way she tried to hide that she was shivering in the cold. He could have walked on. Maybe that's what most people would have done. But then he looked down at Emily. Her wide blue eyes weren't asking, they were pleading. And Daniel knew he couldn't teach his daughter compassion while turning his back on someone in need. He crouched down to the girl's level. "Hey," he said gently. "You okay?" The girl flinched like his voice was a weapon. She shook her head, strands of dyed purple hair falling into her face. I don't need anything. Just, leave me here." But Emily stepped forward, small and fearless. "You shouldn't be alone," she said softly. "My daddy's strong. He can help." That broke something in the girl's armor. She covered her face with her hands, and the sobs came hard and fast. Daniel didn't ask questions then. He just offered his jacket, guided her to her feet, and brought her home. That night, sitting at their worn kitchen table, Daniel learned her name. She was 19. She had run away from an abusive boyfriend 2 days ago. Her parents had kicked her out long before that, calling her tattoos a disgrace. She had no money, no phone, no place to go. Daniel listened quietly, his jaw tightening with each detail. He knew what it was like to feel discarded. He also knew that Emily was watching his every move, learning from how he treated this stranger. So when Kayla broke down again and whispered, "I don't know where I belong anymore," Daniel reached across the table and said, "For now, you belong here. You're safe tonight." It was just one night, he told himself. One night to give her warmth, food, and rest. But deep down, he knew this was the beginning of something much bigger. The next morning, the house felt different. Emily had set out cereal bowls, humming happily, as if having Kayla there was the most natural thing in the world. Kayla sat quietly, still guarded, pulling her sleeves down to hide her tattoos. Daniel noticed. He noticed everything. When he drove Emily to school, she hugged Kayla first. "Don't be sad," she said. "You can stay till you're happy again." Kayla smiled for the first time, but when the door shut, her shoulders sagged. Daniel could see the storm brewing in her. He made coffee and sat across from her. "Look," he said firmly, "I'm not here to judge your past. But if someone's after you, if you're in danger, I need to know." Kayla's eyes filled with fear. She admitted her ex had friends, dangerous ones, and they wouldn't be happy she left. Daniel's protective instincts roared to life. The Marine in him wanted to fight, but the father in him knew the stakes were higher now. That evening, the danger came closer. A black car slowed outside their house. A man leaned out, calling Kayla's name. Daniel stood at the window, muscles tense, until the car rolled away. He didn't let Kayla see the way his hands shook afterward. "Daddy," Emily whispered, noticing his silence, "you'll keep her safe, right?" Daniel knelt down, eye level with his daughter. "Always," he promised. That night, he barely slept. Memories of combat mixed with the new responsibility pressing down on him. But when dawn came, so did clarity. Walking away wasn't an option. Helping Kayla wasn't just an act of charity, it was teaching Emily what it meant to stand up for others, even when it was hard. The very next day, everything changed. Daniel returned home from dropping Emily off to find limousines parked outside his modest house. Men in suits stepped out, followed by a woman in her 50s with the same purple-tinted hair as Kayla. "Mr. Carter," the woman asked, her voice trembling. "My name is Margaret. I've been searching for my daughter for months." Kayla froze in the doorway, tears spilling down her face as she recognized her estranged mother. Margaret rushed forward, embracing her fiercely. The truth spilled out: Margaret had divorced Kayla's abusive father years ago, but Kayla never knew. She'd been looking everywhere for her child. And the limousines? They weren't for show. Margaret was wealthy, successful, and desperate to make things right. Kayla clung to Daniel, torn between the pain of the past and the hope of a future. He looked at her, steady and calm, and said, "Sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when you need them. But if she's ready to fight for you now, maybe it's time to let her try." For the first time, Kayla let herself believe she was worth fighting for. As the limousines carried Kayla and her mother away, Emily held her dad's hand. "Daddy," she whispered, "we really did help her, didn't we?" Daniel smiled, though his eyes shone with tears. "Yeah, sweetheart. We did."